Let's have a look at these number sequences. So recognize pattern in number sequences. So in this question, I did question A with you yesterday. So we had to identify how the sequence is extended. So how the sequence is extended, that's the question. So we look at this one and we look at D, 16 to 44 to 72 to 100 to 128 to 156. So the numbers are increasing. They're not increasing by an awful lot, but they are increasing. So it's either going to be a multiplication sign or a plus sign. So the trick for us, when they're not increasing an awful lot, it's a kind of a sign that it's a plus, that the operation is a plus and not a multiplication. So we're going to have a look and see, can we see any, can we identify any pattern? So we have 100 in the number sequence, and the number beside 100, just after it, is 128. So what would we have done to the 100 to get 128? Yes, we would have added 28. Right, so what would we have done to the 16 to get to the 44? So I've done a rough work over here, and I've taken 16 from the 44, and I got 28. So we can identify from this number pattern that if we add 16 to 28, we get 44. If we add 28 to 44, we get 72. If we add 28 to 72, we get 100. And if we add, like I said a second ago, 28 to 100, we get 128. And if I add 28 to that 128, I will get 156. So my operation, or how my sequence is extended, is by plussing 8. Let's have a look at D. Let's have a look at H. We've looked at D. So D is 2, 12, 72, 432, and 2,592. Once again, the numbers are increasing. But if you have a look and you can recognize from the number sequence, the numbers are going up quite high, aren't they? They're going from 2 to 12 to 72 to 432, right up to 2,592. This would indicate to us that we are going to use the multiplication sign, okay? So if we look at our number sequence, how or what do we multiply by 2 to get 12? Okay, so we should know from our multiplication tables that we've been doing that if we multiply 2 by 6, we will get 12. If we multiply 12 by 6, we will get 72. If we multiply 6 by 72, we don't know what answer we would get, but we'd have to do a rough work over at the side. But we will get the answer of 432. If we multiply that 432 by 6 again, we will get the answer of 2,592. So in this particular case, our operation is by 6. Multiply by 6. Okay, hope you got on well with those guys. The rest of the answers are updated on the Aladdin sheet. We're going to have a look at extending number sequences today. So it could sometimes be trickier to spot how sequences be extended. So look at this pattern. So I'm going to look at this pattern here. 1, 2, 4, 7, 11, 16, and 22. Okay, so this is a number sequence or a pattern. Okay, and so we want to identify what operations are being used in this sequence or pattern to extend it. So if we look at the example down here, we've got from 1 to 2 to 4 to 7 to 11 to 16 to 22. So it's increasing, so it's going up. So it indicates that we're going to use the plus sign. Okay, so if we have a look and see. So to get from the 1 to the 2, okay, we must plus 1. If we have 2, then to get from the 2 to the 4, we must plus 2. To get from 4 to 7, you must have to plus 1, 2, 3. And to get from 7 to 11, we must have the plus 4. To get from 11 to 16, we must have the plus 5. And to get from 16 to 22, we plus 6. Okay, so the actual sequence or the operation that is being used in this particular pattern is plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5, plus 6. If I wanted to extend this pattern, this number pattern or sequence, my next operation would be plus 7. Okay, and we will get 22 plus 7, which would equal to 29 if I was extending this number sequence. Let's have a look at question 4. I'm going to do a few examples here with you. So we're going to have a look at A first, okay? So I don't want you to be looking at G for the minute. So I'm going to cover G, okay? So look at A. So A goes from 1 to 2 to 5 to 10 to 17. Okay, so let's have a look at the operation, the pattern of the operations, okay, in this particular sequence. So from 1 to 2 is plus 1. From 2 to 5 is plus 3. From 5 to 10, we plus 5 to the 5. From 10 to 17, we add 7. And then we are left to figure out what is our next term in the pattern. Okay, so we know from looking at the pattern, it is going up in 2s, 1 to 3 to 5 to 7. So our next operation is plus 9, which gives us 26. So our next term here after the 17 is 26, because it's going up in the pattern or the operation of plus 2. So it's going up 2 each time. So from 1 to 3 to 5 to 7 to 9 to 11, which will be our next operation. So plus 11. So 26 plus 11 gives us our next term of 37. We add 2 to the 11 and we get plus 13. So our next term in our number pattern or sequence will be 37 plus 13, which is 50. So we can see our new terms then are 26, 37, and 50. Okay, and our operation, the sequence of our operation is going up in 2s, starting at 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Okay, that's how we extended that number sequence. Right, let's have a look at G. G is a little bit different, okay? These can be done in a few different kind of ways, okay? So let's have a look at G. So G is 1 to 5 to 4. See, it decreases, increases to 8, and decreases again to 7, and increases to 11. So it goes from 5, which is an increase, 1 to 5, 5 to 4, which is a decrease, 4 to 8 is an increase, 8 to 7 is a decrease, 7 to 11 is an increase. So let's have a look and see, can we identify the pattern here? So because it's an increase and a decrease, we're going to be using the operation of plus and minus. Okay, so let's have a look. So the number sequence, it went from plus 4. So 1 to get to the 5 would be plus 4. Okay. 5 to get to 4, you'd have to minus 1. So it's plus 4. The operation is plus 4 minus 1. To get to 8 again, you see that it's plus 4. Our next term in our sequence is 7. And we have to take away 1 from the 8 to get 7. Okay. Our next term in sequence is 11. So we plus 4 again. So we can see a pattern building in this actual sequence of plus 4, minus 1, plus 4, minus 1, plus 4. So what comes next in the pattern of our operations? We'll have to have a look. So it will be minus 1. So 11 minus 1 will give us 10. 10 is our next term here. Okay, so we have to find 2 more terms. So our next operation is going to be plus 4. plus 4 is 14. And our last operation to get our last term, we have to minus 1, which will be 13. Okay, so some of them will have the operations of plus and minus. Some will have just minus on their own, and others will have just pluses on their own. So work away at those questions there today, please, guys, and I will post up the answers.